Time War by Lin Carter. Though I saw Lin Carter's books on every newsstand I ever visited as a teen, I never picked one up and read it until now. I received this book as a gift from a friend in Pittsburgh when she learned I was traveling across the country buying lots of old science fiction paperbacks. To that nice lady, I say thanks for finally introducing me to Carter. On the copyright page, Lin Carter dedicates the novel to his friend Joe Schomburger, whom he says loves this kind of Van Vogtian puzzle yarn as much as I do. With a little research, I learned that Schomburger was the editor of a science fiction fanzine called Ego Boo. Ego Boo was a phrase used by science fiction fans to imply the ego boost one gets from being mentioned in print or associated with other famous people. This dedication may have been Carter's way of ensuring a bit of grassroots promotion for Time War. A.E. Van Vogt achieved fame in the late 1930s by writing strange tales full of twists and turns, with plots that were often baffling to the average reader. It was later revealed that Van Vogt often based his tales on his dreams. Though they sometimes made little sense, they provided just the sort of imaginative, bizarre worlds and situations young readers loved. So, Time War is Lin Carter's stab at writing a Van Voghtish novel. The central character of the book is John Lux, and just so you don't forget that fact, Carter begins every chapter in the book with that name. Lux is caught up in high strangeness when people from the future tell him he possesses powers of teleportation, and he must use those powers to survive, at least for the next 24 hours. If he does not survive, it means total annihilation of the entire human race in the future. Talk about pressure. A pistol held by an invisible hand and a car without a driver both try to kill John Lux. These are just the sort of extreme motivators he needs to awaken his dormant power of teleportation. He survives by spontaneously teleporting away from danger. Now that he believes he can do it, he must seize conscious control of this amazing ability. While flying his personal airplane, John Lux is beset by a gang of strange silver men who float through the air in an upright position, legs dangling in a weird manner. These creatures attempt to blast him out of the sky using blue bursts of energy. He crash lands the plane and narrowly escapes by hiding in the woods. For me, this begs the question: if these creatures can travel thousands of years through time and locate an individual out of a planetary population of billions, how can John Lux elude them by hiding behind trees? However, if I'm thinking of this story as a dream or a hallucination of some sort, it makes perfect sense. That's what Carter meant by making Time War Van Vogt-like. Each chapter of the book has a title, like The Impossible Murderer, The Silver Men, The Null Sphere. I suspect that Carter began this writing project with the 15 chapter titles and let his imagination run wild. The chapter titles may even have been provided by his pal Joe Schomburger, but of course I have no way of finding out for sure. John Lux goes from one episode to the next on his way to his appointment with destiny, the moment when he will save the human race. And though danger is implied every step of the way, these dangers often seem vague, foggy, and distant. I never had a tense thought or feeling of apprehension. The events of the novel maintain a safe distance from the reader. Many pages offer no interaction between John and other characters or concrete situations. More often, the pages are filled with musings as John tries to make sense of what is happening to him and decide how he feels about the whole situation. Again, the novel is dreamlike, like one of those dreams where you drift through strange situations that may seem traumatic as you're dreaming, but lose substance as soon as you try to explain your dream to others. This novel may have been written hastily to fill a slot in a publisher's release schedule. The pages are padded with a lot of unnecessary words, too many adverbs and adjectives, almost to the point of becoming ridiculous. This may have been part of Carter's plan, to add another quirky angle to his tribute to Van Vogt. Also, Time War is a great title, but nothing actually resembling a war happens. The cover art by Frank Frazetta is definitely enticing. I have a handful of other Lin Carter novels to read, so I'll withhold judgment regarding his skills as a writer until I've read a few more. And of course, I'll be reviewing anything I read on this channel. Time War by Lin Carter, an enigma perhaps worthy of your attention.